Goodwill is everything. Geronda. What about when someone asks for help and I have nothing to give? When I wish to give charity and I have nothing to give, then I do charity with blood. Someone who has wealth and gives material help experiences some joy, while another who has nothing to give suffers constantly and is humbled, saying, I have not given any alms. Goodwill is everything. A rich man has the ability to give and does not give. A poor man wants to give but does not give because he doesn't have anything to give. The one case is different from the other. If a rich man gives, he will experience a certain degree of joy. The poor man suffers, he wants to give some alms but has nothing to give and so suffers inside. Whereas if he had something to give, he would give it and not suffer. Goodwill shows in our actions. If someone asks alms from a poor person and this poor person, even though deprived, offers something regardless of whether the other person goes out and drinks ouzo with the money given, then the poor man who gave will have spiritual joy and God will guide someone else to provide him with material help. Do you know what great injustice is done sometimes? One person gives all he has in order to help, and the recipient rationalizes the gesture to his liking. Geronda, what do you mean? Suppose that someone has just 5,000 drachmas in his pocket. On his way he meets a beggar and places all the drachmas in the beggar's hand and leaves. The beggar then sees that he has just received 5,000 drachmas and is very happy. At that same time, another very rich person passes by and seeing that the other one gave 5,000 drachmas to the beggar, he reasons to himself, for him to be giving 5,000 drachmas at a time, one can only wonder how much money he must have. Certainly he must have millions. So the very rich man gives 500 drachmas to the beggar and eases his conscience with the thought that he has done his duty. In fact, the first man only had the 5,000 drachmas, and seeing the beggar, his heart was moved by compassion to give him all his money. If the rich man had also worked spiritually, he would have had the good thought to reason accordingly. Oh my goodness, he gave the beggar everything he had, or maybe he would have said, he had 10,000 and gave the 5,000 drachmas to the beggar. But how can he have any good thoughts about this matter when he does not work at all in a spiritual manner? He simply reasons and says, for him to be throwing his money away like that, he must be raking it in. Some people again, while giving 500 or even 1,000 drachmas to a poor person, will start bargaining over 5 or 10 drachmas with a poor laborer who works for him. I can't understand this. You give 500 or even 1,000 drachmas to a stranger, and the person you have beside you, who helps you, you allow to go hungry. This is the person you are obligated to love and help first. But it seems the charity offered by such people is only done to earn praise from others. They will even take someone to court over 1,000 drachmas simply because they are thinking in a worldly way and do not wish to be taken for a dupe. A devout woman related an incident to me. She wanted to buy a load of firewood from an old lady who had traveled 3 hours to bring it from the forest to town. In fact, that particular time it had taken her 3.5 hours because she had to circle around the lookout post to avoid the forest patrol. How much is the wood? The woman asked. 15 drachmas, the old lady replied. No, it's too much. I'll give you 11 drachmas for it. She then went on to tell me. I bargained with her like this so that people will not take a spiritual people for fools. After that, I gave her a piece of my mind and thorough dressing down. That poor lady had 2 animals and had spent 2 days gathering the wood in order to make 22 drachmas. Instead of offering an extra 20 drachmas for the wood, the greedy woman tried to bargain the price down for just a few drachmas.